is that today the fishing industry is a knowledge-based industry where we need to employ the best of the best. The technical improvement, the improved handling of the catches, the market knowledge, progress in logistics, all these factors and others have opened the new doors to us and greatly increased the performance and yield of the fishing industry. Although the quotas have in some stocks decreased, the value creation itself has increased. Additionally, the fishing industry has generated other industries producing top quality technology. It cannot be denied, however, that like in various parts of the world, the fishing industry in Iceland plays an important rural development role. This should never be undermined. This, however, must not result in a decrease of the incentive for every district to economize and to strive towards better yields in the fishing industry as a whole. The route, however, entails putting aside a certain part of the fishing right, the quota, and to utilize it under other prerequisites without, nevertheless, limiting the general possibilities for economizing in the industry. There is no doubt that this route is more attractive than constantly increasing the burden of the fishing industry as a whole in the name of any kind of social views, which is a path various nations have unfortunately gone with disastrous consequences, as we know. In discussing these matters, we must strongly emphasize how to define the fishing rights. Let's not forget that this is something that the nations which have reached the greatest results have all focused on. Looking at the whole equation, to me, it does not change everything, whether we look at the fishing rights as a quota, a measurable weight unit, as in Iceland, or elsewhere, as a catch effort right, as it is the case here in the Faroe Islands and in other countries as well. The main thing is that this is an individual right, fueling rationalization, and also creates as much fueling rationalization, and also us creating as much valuables from the natural resources as possible. This furthermore generates long-term thinking, because he who receives the right to utilize the natural resources, of course, wants to do it in a manner that yields both him and the national economy permanent long-term valuables. Earlier I touched upon how there are various examples in the world of nations having extensive natural resources, yet do not deal their cards right in respect of the opportunities entailed therein. This illustrates to us such a great paradox, namely a natural resource, irrespective of how abundant it is, will not become a tangible valuables unless it is sensibly utilized. We see examples of this in many parts of the world. They stare us actually in the eyes. This is why we must always keep two things in mind: responsible utilization of the natural resources and organizations that results in less costs and fuels increased income. Ladies and gentlemen, buyers and consumers of fish products increasingly want to know whether the origin, catch methods, and processing of such products are in conformity with the respect one must exercise for the marine resources, and whether they are in conformity with the sensible utilizations of the resources. More often than not, we, the Icelanders, are now asked such questions regarding the fish products we sell. Fortunately, we have succeeded in creating a good reputation throughout the world and enjoy this reputation at several international markets. It is felt that our resources and resource utilization is symbolized by the responsibility, and therefore it is safe to purchase and sell items whose origins is within the Icelandic fisheries management system and are processed by Icelandic enterprises. We strongly emphasize safeguarding this reputation, because it is easy to lose but hard to reconstruct. I have clearly become aware of that the decision on reducing the total allowable catch last year constitutes, in the mind of many of our buyers, a living proof of how Iceland can be trusted regarding responsible natural resources utilization. It is interesting in this respect to draw attention to the fact that the prices of Icelandic cod products have increased considerably since the middle of last year, or since it became clear that the cod TAC in the Icelandic waters would be reduced significantly. This reflects the great interest of the buyers of Icelandic fish and, unfortunately, also reflects the shortage of these products. This the sellers of Icelandic fish can vouch for. This is why I have taken exception when unsophisticated organizations maintain propaganda that has directly or indirectly smeared the reputation of those utilizing natural resources in a responsible manner. This does not apply to us Icelanders, does not only apply to us Icelanders, but also to many other nations that find themselves in similar circumstances as ours. We must, of course, respond firmly and clearly, drawing attention to what we are doing. We should, of course, demand that any discussion about us is responsible and professional. Again, this puts pressure on us to do well in our efforts. Responsible fishing nations at the North Atlantic should demand that they are judged by their actions instead of being subject to unfounded comments by those who cannot even be bothered to study matters. Individuals or organizations that express themselves with total lack of knowledge and full of prejudice, as we have unfortunately witnessed, even by parties that are respected and held in high regard at the international arena. Distinguished conference members, the Faroe Islands are setting a very good example for us all in initiating this international conference. Here is an opportunity for us to discuss important and pressing issues, to cast a light upon various issues or questions, some of which are very complex. This is furthermore a venue where various views are presented and in-depth and critical discussions are suggested. Here we, the nations whose livelihood depends on successful fisheries and other successful natural resource utilization, are given opportunity to explain our course and discuss in a wide context. Such an opportunity is unfortunately rare. Most of us have probably first and foremost discussed these matters from a more narrow perspective, which in itself is normal and all right. However, expanding the debate deepens it and generates increased understanding, as we are at a venue where the topic is more extensive and the perspective much wider. This is a welcome opportunity for which I am very grateful. Friends and colleagues, thank you for this opportunity to share my views with you in an international context. Thank you very much.